Good morning and welcome. Thanks for tuning into BQ Prime. We are currently following the top story of the day with regard to the changes made by the RBI on risk-weighted assets. Let's quickly have with us, or rather me, introducing our expert from the BFSI space. We have Vineet Bolinjkar from Ventura Securities, who is the head of research there, to talk to us about the clear impact of this on the entire financial space. So, sir, let me start off. What are, in your view, the critical names that one would have to keep in mind? We're very close to the start of trade. What do you think will be the most impacted in trade today?
So I think the most impacted in trade because of this RBI circular are going to be, IDFC Bank, RBL, SBI cards. These are going to be largely impacted. Paytm and the fintech companies would also get impacted because there is going to be a sharp slowdown in their sourcing of loans. So the growth rates are going to get impacted. So these stocks could take a sharp hit during the day. Apart from these, I think the impact on the large banks is not going to be that significant because they had earlier warned against unsecured lending, and they, in fact, ICICI Bank had said that they had pulled off 50,000 crores worth of lending. So has HDFC Bank been concerned with the activities going on in the segment. So I think these banks, although there might be a small kind of an impact initially, along with the entire sector, they would be impacted the least.
Right. But, to try and break this down a little bit more, right, the impact will largely be from a perspective that this will curtail growth going forward. But also, you will require some amount of fresh capital coming in. Any specific names in your view where capital may be required to be infused? Maybe not immediately, but it'll be pulled back a little bit in your view. Any specific names there?
So I think the entire space is well adequately capitalized. So that may not be a material impact. But what will be required, what will automatically happen is that lending to this segment will automatically slow down, number one. Number two is cost of funds is going to go up marginally. So while the PNL will not get impacted, the ROA will not get impacted, what will happen is that it will have a telling effect on the ROEs. And the stocks that I mentioned to you earlier, these are significantly the most impacted. I would also like to highlight to you stocks which are least impacted. So I think Mahindra Financial Services and Bank of Baroda are in a sweet spot in this case.
Understood. Got it. And with regard, while we were speaking about Bank of Baroda, what about SBI? We had the capital adequacy, around that 14% mark. Definitely was on slightly on the lower side among all the other banks. Very easy for SBI to raise capital. I completely buy into that argument. But you have around 4 odd lakh crore of loans, around 15% of the book, which is unsecured basis the ballpark math that we've done. How does that look to you? And is this the trigger for a fundraise, probably in FY24 or FY25 early?
So, a fundraise was always on the cards, and it will definitely come through. But, you have to understand one thing that, for lending, SBI has about 4 lakh crores of surplus parked in SLR security. So from the point of view of liquidity and lending, they do not have as much as a problem as they would have with the allocation of the risk weights. So definitely there would be a need to raise capital in the not maybe in the immediate short term, but 24-25 is somewhere where we would see some capital flows coming in.
Right. Before I switch over to the NBFC side of things, you have the likes of an HDFC Bank and an IndusInd Bank, where the loan breakup may be somewhere, there may be some part of the mix which will be covered by exclusions. But broadly, I'm seeing 20% plus with regard to unsecured or with regard to retail within both of these banks. Any concern that you are seeing with regard to both asset quality given that this has now come from the RBI as pretty much a mandate? And second, do you see any drag on the capital of both of these and therefore the ROAs of both of these?
So, as I mentioned to you, the ROA will not have an impact because once you increase the weights, right, automatically what you are going to do to maintain the ROE, you are possibly going to raise the cost of funds also. So there could be a 10 to 15 basis points impact out there. As far as NPAs are concerned, we have to understand that these banks lend necessarily to their own customers, right, who have been rated well. So we do not foresee any great NPA risk emanating out of this. But having said that, both these banks could be impacted up to 20 to 30 bips on the capital adequacy. Beyond that, we do not think that there would be a significant impact.
Understood. Yeah, that 20 to 30 bips looks digestible, at least right off the bat. But, my last question is with regard to NBFCs. One concern that is clearly being flagged off by most analysts is SBI cards. And you also have the likes of a Bajaj Finance, very large consumer finance book. Any concern you see there, or you believe that largely they are going to be able to absorb this?
So, there is definitely going to see they are very, very well capitalized. And the mainstay of their business is obviously coming from unsecured lending, right? So we believe that they will take it in their slide, raise the rates, and allocate more capital there. So to that extent, while the impact will be there, they are necessarily going to engineer their product pricing in a way that their ROEs are not diluted significantly. And there might be a little bit of slowdown in the growth. But as far as Bajaj Finance is concerned, I think it has got several sectoral allocations which are growing well. And there would be a slight tweaking of the allocations and which they push forth. So we do not see too much of an impact on Bajaj Finance. But definitely, yes, on SBI cards where 100% of the lending is coming from unsecured, there is going to be a material impact. So there is a 400 pips impact on capital adequacy for Bajaj for SBI cards, whereas there is a 215 to 20 pips kind of impact on Bajaj Finance.
Right, that's all the time we have, Vineet. Thank you so much for that, though, breaking the specific names down after we spoke with Axis with regard to the larger impact. It was great speaking to you with regard to specific names and where the impacts will be. Of course, we're very close to market open now, but we'll let you go on that note. Thank you so much for this, and thank you, viewers, for watching us.